And so what I want you to focus on when you get to exam prep is study them one at a time and know that there are redundancies, like we talked about, between defined contribution and defined benefit plans. And then you want to look at one at a time. One of my knocks against live review programs is they put this stuff on spreadsheets and you try to absorb it all. And it's like, oh man, I'm never going to remember all this. Master them one at a time. And then what you want to become very skilled at is, okay, so these are both defined contribution plans. So I know there's redundancy in things like annual additions limit, covered comp limit, etc. But what's the difference? What's the little difference? Maybe it's one thing between these two. And then you want to translate. So this is all one big features and benefits translation exercise. So that there's all these features, the attitude is big deal. What's that mean to anybody? What's the benefit of that? Oh, okay. And then further in exam prep, you want to start thinking about, all right, so that's the benefit of that feature. What kind of language would describe that in a question? So you're just fine tuning your radar to what the sponsor, usually it's the sponsor's objective for the plan. And then you're finding those nuances that match up, that start knocking out the choices. So one example would be, we have all of these plans, the full lineup, and the first desirable element we get is that the sponsor wants this plan to be insured by PBGC. This is an easy one. Do you remember which plans have PBGC? It's a short list, friends. It's those two defined benefit pension plans. Those are the only things that have PBGC. So that question would be over pretty quickly. But let's go further. And we're saying, all right, those two have PBGC. Easy to pick if there's only one defined benefit in the 4 answer choices. But what if both of them are on there? Well, we need something else. We go back into the narrative and say something else, got to be something else. Generally lower associated costs. All right, bingo. Cash balance is generally going to be less expensive to administrate because it's not working on a guaranteed monthly benefit off of some formula. We're just shooting for, no, we're not shooting, we're guaranteeing a cash balance. So it's going to have generally lower expenses. Let me do another one. And this is just to introduce, so you can go forth and say, okay, I'm going to apply this knockout system. So here are the first thing we read is that of all these plans, they want a plan that is generally better for older participants. And so just think of these things as disappearing then. So the list went down pretty nice on the first cut. We see those defined benefits again, because those generically tend to favor older folks. But we do have a way to skew plan contributions in a profit sharing plan to older folks, to the older participants, because it's age weighted. So we don't have enough to go on to pick our final answer. So we need another piece of information. What if it says they'd like, they're uncertain about the ability to afford the plan, and they don't know how much year to year they really could put in. We can only do what? Profit sharing, because that's the only one that you can flex your contributions. Both of those pensions have sizable mandatory annual contributions.